So how's your French? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Not very good.
Not very good. Well, you got
I'll have
to
some
learn.
time. I'll have some time to figure it out. Google Translate works wonders these days.
I have a rough time with English, so just one thing at a time. So, what the last couple of games, you said before, consistency, but what's maybe been different for that consistency, and then how do you bottle it up?
I think we have addressed some of the things on the basketball court that we needed to clean up. You know, taking care of the basketball better, not sending our opponent to the free throw line, dominating on the boards, really good shot selection. And those were the things that we needed to be better in those areas, more consistent in the right way. And I think the last two games are reflective of moving in the right direction.
How good of a morale boost has it been for just two big road wins? Not just winning, but in such dominant fashion.
I think it's been great for our team. I think, again, it speaks to the potential of who we are capable of becoming. You know, I hesitate to say that's who we are because we've also shown that's not who we are. But I think we're capable of that. And so now, you know, I think it is the next step for them. Continue to do the right thing. Continue to take the next step. This is how we build. This is what good teams do. This is what teams who are trying to be great do. You know, you show up every single day the same way. And so hopefully this is us moving in that direction.
How much of this modest two-game win streak can be credited to Janiah finally being back and healthy and allowing everybody else to play their normal roles?
Well, I think she has a huge. I mean, anytime she's on the floor, whether she's scoring the basketball or not, she affects the game in so many ways. She's a defensive presence. She rebounds. She garners attention. Obviously, she's played well offensively too. So all those things help in terms of just us being in a good flow with our rotation, with our positions that we're playing, and all of it. I think it would be the same way if we were lacking any of our starters, right? Janiah obviously is very elite in a lot of the things that we do, but it's not a secret that we start at the same lineup all year long when we have been healthy. And so I think anytime you go away from that, there's going to be an adjustment period that goes with it, no matter who that starter is.
How much confidence are y'all getting from the fact that it seems like the stretches of play that y'all are playing really well, like y'all are kind of extending what would it be maybe in the past kind of a shorter run. It's kind of now turning into 5, 6, 7 minute stretches of pretty dominant basketball. Is that kind of, I guess, encouraging trajectory for you guys?
It is. Again, we knew we were still going to have to grow up during this part of the year once we got into SEC. You're hoping that we are starting to reach some of our potential and our peak. And so the goal is for it to continue to just tick upwards.
Challenges that Vanderbilt might present. What are they?
Listen, what Shea Ralph has done and her staff at Vanderbilt has been incredible to watch. I've known Shea for a long time. I feel like we kind of grew up in the business together as assistants. We graduated high school the same year. She was a heck of a player and competitor, and that's how she coaches her team, and her players have her same toughness, resilience, and fire. And even last year and the year before when she took over Vanderbilt, there was a level of toughness and belief and just focus that they had, regardless of what the outcome showed. And so now this year that she's healthy and she has talent, they're playing so well. They shoot the three at a really high level, average almost 8 made threes a game. They're third in the league in steals. They forced opponents into almost 18 turnovers a game. They're going to press us from the time they get off the bus until the time the game is over. So this will be another game where we've got to take care of the basketball, not trade threes for twos, and just have a level of toughness from start to finish, because that is one thing that when you think about a Shea Ralph team, you think about just toughness and discipline and a high level of focus.
Before they beat Georgia, they had a little bit of a losing streak. Was that just because of the competition? Did they have any kind of injuries, or when you look at the tape, what happened during that time?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it was a ball bouncing the wrong way, and some of it's just who they're playing against in this league. But, if you go before that, they were on a really good winning streak. And so I think it's just kind of how the schedule fell.
How much added importance, pressure comes with playing a team that's right next to you in the SEC standings, given that there's only a handful of conference games remaining?
I think if from going down the stretch, that can possibly be who we play every single week, with the exception of one or two teams. That speaks to this league. I don't think that adds any pressure to us. It lets us. It's definitely something that we need to be aware of as we're going down the stretch. But I wouldn't put pressure along with it. I think that comes with playing in this league. You sometimes have the top, and then there's a jumble, and we're in that jumble, and then you have your teams at the bottom. And so it's having an awareness of where we are. It's something we don't like to talk about a ton, but as we go down the stretch, it becomes more important that they know standings. But I don't think it adds pressure.
Always
After-
been. Oh, there.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
After the 2 games on the road, just being back at home and having kind of a slate back home, just how
I don't know, fun or exciting is it to be back?
We always loved playing at home, sleeping in our own beds. Our ladies love the just schedule of going to class, and they may not say they like going to class, but just the routine, right? But to be able to know that for 2 games we can run out and play in front of our home fans, and the 12th man is something that we take a lot of pride in. We're excited about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, home has been good for you, these 3 games coming, but one game maybe that wasn't good was your last one here in Mississippi State. So what are you teaching to them or taking from that maybe you didn't do that you did before and hope to do moving forward?
Well, I think hopefully we corrected some of that on the road. You think about Mississippi State and you think about turnovers and fouls. And I think those are 2 things that have changed dramatically in the last 2 games. And so, that needs to continue. Yeah.
Without getting too, I guess, into it on the day-to-day for India, are you able to give an update if it is gonna be something maybe more short-term or if it is more serious?
Yeah, no idea.
Okay.
No idea at this time. Yeah.
What has been your any past experience with the coaching staff for the USA team, and what kind of relationships you have with them and the players?
Yeah. So obviously, surreal moment, very humbled, very just grateful to even be considered and to be named a part of such an elite organization and group. Obviously, this will be several stints with USA Basketball for me. Actually, I'm trying to get my dates right. In the fall of 2022, this staff coached the national team for the World Cup. And we were in Australia together and in Vegas at training camp together. So we've got some experience. Kara Lawson and I competed against each other when she was at Tennessee and I was at Alabama. She's a few years younger than me, but obviously she's an elite coach at Duke. And so we know each other well. I've known Mike Tebow for a long time. And to have the opportunity to be around Cheryl, who's one of the greats, in the game, is something that you just don't take for granted, and you just are a sponge in those environments, and you also bring your expertise to the table. But we spend a lot of time together. You get to know people better and really well when you were together for that long of a stretch of time on the other side of the world, and just excited to be with that group and to represent USA.
Anything you're looking forward to specifically? I know, like you said, you've been with USA Basketball for a couple things, but specifically the Olympic experience?
Winning a gold medal. Yeah, that is the plan. That is the only plan. There's only a plan A.
Growing up playing and watching the Olympics and stuff like that, did you ever dream about something like this, having the opportunity to be a part of it?
Obviously, you watch the Dream Team, both sides, the men and the women's Dream Team. The Dream Team for the women is what catapulted the WNBA and the ABL. Obviously, growing up for me, there was no professional, basketball team in the United States, and then out of the Dream Team, that 1996 Olympic team, the WNBA and the ABL was birthed. And then, so for me, it was, I want to do that. Like at that point, I was in high school, but about to graduate, knew I was going to play college basketball somewhere in the SEC. And it was like, I want to do that. I quickly realized I wasn't talented enough to do that. And so honestly, that dream kind of went away. At that point, I wasn't interested in coaching. I didn't think I was going to be a coach. And then it kind of circles back around once you start coaching. And as a young assistant coach, it never crossed my mind. But as I was in the business for longer stretches of time, it kind of was somewhere in the back of my mind. And so I think the long answer to your question is, Mark 11:24, you're standing in the dreams that you prayed for. And it's funny how things come full circle, but not full circle, because my dream was to play in the Olympics. And at one point in my career, you're like crushed because that's not going to happen. But I'm still having the opportunity to do it, but just in a different way than what I had imagined. So it's why you are obedient and you let God do the rest.
So how did you find out about being appointed to the staff for the Olympics, and what was it like for that dream to be realized just in a different way?
Yeah, Brianna Weiss gave me a phone call and just had some discussions. I don't remember exactly at what point that was, and obviously when you are with them in Sydney, it's a possibility, but you don't know for sure. So there's a timetable where you're waiting from fall of last year to whenever you find out that the committee has made their choice. And so to get that phone call was something that I wasn't expecting at the time, because when she called me, I was the head coach, or going to be the head coach for the 19 and under USA team last summer. So when she said, "Hey, can we talk?" I'm expecting the phone call to be about that upcoming summer with the U19 team and us going to Spain. And so she goes, hey, a little bit off kilter here, and then she shares the news with me. So, of course, I was shocked in that moment because I was expecting it to be about something else. And then just had a moment of gratitude and just, again, just humility.
Any good reactions from any family members, friends in particular? Sharing the news?
Well, friends are finding out today. So obviously it was something that was confidential until the release today. So my phone has been going crazy. I haven't had a chance to look at or respond to a lot of the messages. Obviously my family, my husband, they knew. It's funny, when he graduated from Michigan, his first job was with USA Basketball as their director of operations. So it's really neat how that has become a family thing for us.
Getting back to this Rogers question, I know in the
Yeah.
postgame you said you're going to get back, so you still waiting for that results?
Yes, we're still waiting
Okay.
for the results.
Okay, so she's not practicing?
She is not practicing
Okay,
today, no.
sorry, I
Yeah.
just make sure I'm not in left field,
Yeah.
that's always.
Yeah.
Brandon was telling me before you got in here that you've got a connection with Mecole Hardman and had himself quite the night on Sunday.
Yes, he was at Georgia, obviously, when I was there. And, obviously I did not coach him and did not see him every day, but I saw him quite a bit. And he was just a great young man, always mannerable, always had high goals for himself and held himself to a high standard from what I could see. As someone on the outside looking into that program and watching him in study hall and in training table and different places where I saw him, came to women's basketball games and just was always just great. And so from time to time, I'll reach out and say, hey, like, make sure you're holding up the standard. Yes, ma'am, I got you. Yes, ma'am, I got you. And so it was just really neat. Sunday, Brenda asked me before the game at shoot around who I was going for, and I was like, Kansas City, Mecole Hardman, Kansas City. And so obviously we are traveling back. We can't watch the game. We're on the plane. Every 25 or 30 minutes, the pilot, gives us an update on the score. And, sometimes he'll give us a score and sometimes he'll say San Francisco 16, Taylor Swift 9, like he was a comedian about it. And so we finally get back here and we get on the bus to come back to Reed. And we turn the TVs on as soon as we can. And all we see is the very last play in overtime where Mahomes throws the pass to Mecole and he catches it. So great moment, super happy for him and proud of him. And it just was really neat that was the only play that I got to see and that I was actually talking about him earlier that day and what a great young man he is.
All right, thank you all.